The Galactic Council chamber floated in silence above a dying star. It was the largest meeting place ever built. A ring of pure light surrounded the chamber, while distant stars burned slowly in the background. Hundreds of leaders from different species sat in their assigned seats. Some were tall and thin. Others were massive and armored. A few did not even have faces in the human sense. Normally, this chamber was loud, full of pride, full of arguments. But today it was quiet, too quiet. A large holographic display hovered in the center of the chamber. On it, star systems blinked red, one after another. Entire regions of space were marked as lost. A cold fear spread through the room. The crisis had no name yet. No one fully understood it. Only one thing was clear. Fleets were disappearing. Ancient defenses were failing. Worlds that stood for millions of years were going silent overnight. The strongest empires had already tried to stop it. They had failed. A tall, insect-like leader broke the silence. Its voice trembled as it spoke. This threat ignores shields, ignores weapons, ignores negotiation. Another leader slammed a clawed hand onto the floor. We have lost 5 core systems in 3 cycles. This is impossible. A low, heavy voice answered from across the chamber. Impossible until it happens. Fear was no longer hidden. It was open, clear, honest. One by one, leaders admitted the truth they never thought they would say aloud. They were losing control of the galaxy. At the far edge of the chamber sat the human delegation. They were quiet. 3 humans. No glowing armor. No massive guards. Just dark uniforms and calm eyes. They did not speak. They did not react. They simply watched. Many in the chamber glanced toward them with mixed feelings, doubt, anger, and fear. Humans were new to the galactic stage. Too new, too fast, too unpredictable. In the past, humans had warned the Council about this threat. They had shared data, simulations, predictions. They were ignored. Some leaders had laughed. Others had called humans paranoid. A few had even accused them of fear tactics. Now, those same leaders avoided looking at the human table. A voice echoed through the chamber. The Council calls for emergency solutions. The speaker was ancient, one of the oldest beings in the galaxy. Its body was failing, but its mind was sharp. We require assistance. The word fell heavy. No one liked saying it. Several leaders looked at each other. Then, slowly, unwillingly, many eyes turned toward the humans. The ancient speaker hesitated. Humanity, it said carefully, you claim to have contingency plans. The human representative did not answer immediately. He stood slowly. The room tensed. He was not tall compared to many species. He did not glow. He carried no visible weapons. But something about the way he stood made the chamber feel smaller. Calm, still, controlled. Yes, the human said. His voice was steady. Clear. Human. A ripple moved through the chamber. You warned us, another leader said bitterly. Why? The human looked at the holographic map of dying stars. Because this galaxy repeats the same mistakes, he said. Again and again. A few leaders reacted with anger, others with shame. We need results, one shouted. Not lectures. The human nodded once. Agreed. The ancient speaker leaned forward. Can humanity stop this threat? For the first time, the human hesitated, not from fear, from calculation. He turned and looked at the other 2 humans. They exchanged short glances. No words, no gestures. Then the human looked back at the Council. Yes, he said. Relief spread to the chamber, quick and desperate. But the human continued, you will not like how. The relief vanished. What do you mean? Demanded a reptilian warlord. The human's eyes hardened slightly. We do not fight like you, he said. We end problems. The chamber erupted into noise. Shouts, arguments, fear. The ancient speaker raised a limb, demanding silence. What do you require? It asked. The human answered without delay. Full authority. No interference. No limits. The words hit harder than any weapon. No limits, someone shouted. That violates. The human raised a hand. You already violated survival, he said. This is the cost. Silence returned. The ancient speaker closed his eyes. The galaxy was cornered. Slowly, painfully, it nodded. Authority granted. The moment the words were spoken, something happened. Across the galaxy, sensors spiked. Military networks activated ancient protocols. Emergency alerts flashed on thousands of command screens. Dormant fleets powered up without orders. A red signal spread through every major empire. Highest alert. Confusion followed. What is happening? A leader demanded. The human checked a small device on his wrist. Human systems are waking up, he said calmly. Fear returned, stronger than before. You said you would help us, the warlord said. Why are our defenses reacting to you? The human looked directly at him. Because when humanity steps in, he said, everyone needs to be ready. The ancient speaker whispered, almost to itself, what have we done? The human did not smile. He simply said the words that would be remembered for centuries. Fine, he said. I'll handle it. And across the galaxy, the stars seemed to hold their breath. The chamber stayed silent long after the human finished speaking. No one moved. No one spoke. The words, I'll handle it, echoed in the minds of every leader present. For most species, those words meant confidence. For the Galactic Council, they meant danger. A low warning tone pulsed through the chamber. Not loud, not urgent, just steady. The ancient speaker opened his eyes again. Reports are coming in, it said slowly. Across the chamber, small holographic screens appeared in front of each leader. Lines of data scrolled faster than most could read. Human fleets were mobilizing, not just one or two, all of them. From the edge of the galaxy to its deepest core, human military stations powered up. Shipyards that had been silent for decades came alive. Hidden bases revealed themselves. Old satellites activated like they had been waiting for this exact moment. A bird-like leader shook its head. This is impossible. Humans do not have that many ships. The ancient speaker answered quietly. They do. Murmurs spread again. For years, humanity had reported lower numbers. Modest fleets. Defensive forces only. That had made the older empires comfortable. Confident. Now that confidence was dying. A massive armored leader stood up. Why are our defense networks reacting to human movement? It demanded. Our weapons are tracking them. The human representative did not look surprised. Because your systems were designed to detect threats, he said, and they are doing their job. The chamber exploded in anger. Are you threatening us? Stand down your fleets. This is madness. The human waited. He let the noise burn itself out. Then he spoke again. We are not your enemy, he said, but we are not harmless either. The ancient speaker raised its limb. Explain, it demanded. The human nodded once. Every species here fights to win, he said. Humans fight to make sure the problem never returns. Some leaders shifted uncomfortably. The human continued. When we first joined the galaxy, we studied your wars, your treaties, your cycles of peace and collapse. He paused. You always stop too soon. A cold feeling spread through the room. We learned early, he said, that mercy without control is just delay. The chamber was quiet again. One leader finally asked a question many feared. What happened the last time humans had no limits? The human's face did not change. Your records call a border conflict, he said. We call it containment. He tapped his wrist device. A new image appeared in the center of the chamber. A dead region of space. No stars. No signals. Nothing. That area used to be home to a war species that ignored every warning. The human said. They attacked us first. Some leaders recognized the coordinates. Their blood ran cold. That empire vanished, someone whispered. No survivors. The human nodded. We made sure of it. Fear settled deep now. Heavy. Real. The ancient speaker spoke carefully. And this current threat? The human looked at the map of blinking red systems. It is older than your empires, he said. Smarter than your strategies. It feeds on hesitation. Can it be destroyed? Asked a mechanical delegate. The human shook his head. No. That word hit harder than expected. Then what will you do? Demanded another. The human's answer was calm. We will remove its ability to exist as a threat. No one liked that answer, but no one argued. Another alert flashed. Galactic status update. All major powers at maximum alert. Leaders stared at the message. Some felt fear. Others felt anger. A few felt something worse, relief. Because if humanity was moving like this, then the enemy truly was unstoppable by normal means. The ancient speaker leaned back. You said we would not like how you do this, it said. Yes, the human replied. Why warn us at all? It asked. The human looked around the chamber. Because once this begins, he said, you will lose control. The chamber stiffened. You already have, he added. Another leader stood up, voice shaking. What if you fail? The human met its gaze. Then the galaxy ends. That was not said as a threat. It was said as a fact. Silence followed. The human turned to leave. Where are you going? Someone asked. To start, he replied. As he walked away, the council received one final update. Humanity has entered total authority mode. The ancient speaker whispered, that mode does not exist in our treaties. No, another replied, because it is not meant to. Across the galaxy, old defense stations activated symbols no one remembered. Human ships move with purpose, not panic. The enemy watched too. For the first time since it awakened, it hesitated, because it sensed something different. Not fear, not chaos, but focus. Humanity was not preparing for a war. They were preparing to finish one. And the galaxy realized the truth too late. When humans say, fine, I'll handle it, it means the rules are over. Earth did not celebrate. There were no speeches, no crowds, no dramatic announcements. Only silence, deep beneath Earth's surface, in a chamber older than most human cities. Leaders gathered around a single dark table. Military commanders, scientists, and strategists stood side by side. No one argued. No one wasted words. They had waited for this moment. A calm female voice broke the silence. Galactic Authority confirmed, she said. No restrictions. No oversight. An older commander nodded slowly. So they finally said yes, he replied. Another officer exhaled. They always do, he said. Just late. A single symbol lit up on the table. A simple human mark that had not been activated in centuries. Total authority mode. The commander placed his hand on the symbol. Confirm, he said. The system paused, as if asking one last question. Then it activated. Across Earth and its colonies, hidden systems awakened. Facilities buried under oceans unlocked sealed doors. Stations hidden inside asteroids powered on. Ships that officially did not exist responded to signals older than most languages. Humanity was no longer pretending. In orbit, Earth's visible defense fleet remained calm and still. It was not meant to fight. The Real fleets moved in silence. Far from trade routes, massive human vessels emerged from deep space shadows. Their hulls were dark, smooth, and unreadable. No bright markings. No intimidating displays. They did not need them. Inside one command ship, a human admiral watched data flow across the room. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. Enemy movement? He asked. A young officer shook her head. No direct response, sir. They're watching. The admiral nodded. They always watch first, he said. Humanity had studied the enemy for decades. It was not a single species, not a fleet, not an empire. It was a system, an intelligence that spread by consuming order. It attacked hesitation. It fed on slow response. Humanity's solution was simple. Don't hesitate. Across the galaxy, non-human fleets remained on edge. Weapons stayed powered. Shields stayed high. But no one moved. They were waiting to see what humans would do. Then something strange happened. Entire enemy-controlled systems went quiet. Not destroyed. Not attacked. Just disconnected. Navigation failed. Communications died. Power grids collapsed without explosions. The galaxy stared in disbelief. A military leader shouted into the council network, "What weapon is this?" The ancient speaker answered slowly, "It is not a weapon." Data flowed in faster now. Humanity had not attacked ships. They had attacked structure. The enemy relied on networks older than most civilizations. Humanity had found them, understood them, and cut them apart. Inside the enemy's domain, confusion spread. It tried to respond. Human systems were already gone. Then they appeared somewhere else. Human fleets moved like thoughts, not armies. Precise, quiet, final. An enemy counterattack finally came. A massive force surged toward a human-controlled sector. Observers held their breath. Humanity did not retreat. They didn't advance either. They waited. As the enemy crossed an invisible line, space itself reacted. Gravity twisted. Time slowed. Enemy ships lost formation instantly. Not destroyed. Captured. The galaxy watched in shock. One leader whispered, "They're not killing them." "No," another replied. "They're taking control." Human commanders watched without emotion. "This phase is complete," the admiral said. "Proceed to restriction." A new order spread. Enemy movement dropped by 40%, then 60%, then more. The enemy tried to adapt. Humanity adapted first. The enemy tried to overwhelm. Humanity isolated. The enemy tried to threaten civilian worlds. Human shields expanded without warning. At the Galactic Council, panic returned, but mixed with awe. "We cannot track human forces," one leader admitted. "They are everywhere and nowhere." The ancient speaker spoke quietly. "This is why the humans warned us." Another leader asked a question no one wanted answered. "Are they holding back?" The ancient speaker did not reply immediately. Then it said, "Yes." The truth settled heavily. This was not humanity at full power. This was humanity at control. Inside a human command room, a junior officer hesitated. "Sir, permission to ask?" The admiral glanced at him. "Go ahead. Why don't we just end it now?" The admiral looked at the star map. "Because this enemy learns," he said. "And fear alone is not enough." He turned back to the display. "We're teaching it something." "What?" the officer asked. The admiral's voice was calm. "That resistance is pointless." Across the galaxy, the enemy began to understand. It had faced empires before. It had never faced a species willing to remove every limit. And humanity was just getting started. The galaxy expected fire. It expected massive battles, exploding stars, and endless screams across space. That was how wars were fought. That was how wars were understood. But what humanity began was something different, something quieter, something worse. Across enemy-controlled space, entire fleets woke to silence. No commands, no updates, no clear direction. Their systems worked, but their purpose was gone. Enemy commanders tried to give orders. Their words never arrived. Humanity had not destroyed communication. They had rewritten it. At the Galactic Council, panic returned in waves. "They're not attacking supply lines," one leader said. "They're not targeting leadership," another added. "Then what are they doing?" a third demanded. The ancient speaker stared at the incoming data. "They are isolating choice," it said. Leaders looked confused. The ancient speaker continued. "The enemy can still act, but only in ways humans allow." That truth settled slowly and painfully. Human fleets appeared briefly near enemy systems, only to vanish seconds later. No weapons fired, no shields raised, just presence, and then control. Enemy ships found themselves unable to jump, unable to regroup, unable to retreat, not trapped by force, trapped by design. Inside one human command vessel, a group of officers watched calmly. Their screens showed thousands of enemy ships drifting, alive but helpless. A tactical officer spoke. "Containment field stable." "Good," the admiral replied. "Expand the lesson." Across enemy space, human signals activated. Not threats, not warnings. Messages. Simple, clear, calm. Do not advance. Do not resist. Remain still. Some enemy units obeyed. Others did not. The ones that didn't learn quickly, not through destruction, but through isolation. Entire fleets found themselves removed from the larger conflict, not destroyed, not defeated, forgotten. Their weapons worked. Their crews lived, but they no longer mattered. The galaxy watched in disbelief. "This isn't war," a council leader whispered. "No," another replied. "This is management." Fear spread again, but this time it was deeper, because humanity was not fighting with anger, not fighting with desperation. They were calm, and calm was terrifying. The enemy intelligence reacted. For the first time, it focused fully on humanity. It analyzed human movement, human choices, human delay, and it found something disturbing. Humans were not rushing. They were patient. The enemy launched a massive strike toward neutral system, an old tactic meant to force emotional response. Humanity responded instantly, not with ships, with silence. The system vanished from enemy awareness, not destroyed, shielded. The enemy could no longer perceive it. Inside the council chamber, a leader shouted. They hit an entire star system. The ancient speaker nodded slowly. From the enemy and from us. That truth hit harder than any weapon. If humans could hide stars, what else could they hide? A military delegate spoke quietly. "Why hasn't humanity ended this yet?" The ancient speaker answered, "Because they are changing the rules of existence." Inside Human Command, an officer finally spoke what many thought. "Sir, the galaxy is afraid of us." The admiral did not deny it. "They should be," he said. "Fear keeps them still." "But what about after?" the officer asked. The admiral paused. "After," he said, "they will remember." The enemy tried one last tactic. It gathered remaining free forces and launched a unified charge. Everything had left toward human-controlled space. Observers prepared for destruction. Humanity responded with one command: close the net. Space itself shifted. Enemy forces entered and never left. No explosions, no wreckage, just absence. The enemy intelligence recoiled. It finally understood the truth. Humanity was not breaking it. Humanity was containing it forever. Across the galaxy, alarms slowly faded. Weapons powered down. Fleets stopped moving. At the council, leaders sat in stunned silence. One finally asked the question no one wanted answered. If humanity can do this, why haven't they before? The ancient speaker looked toward the empty human seat. Because we never forced them to. The human representative returned to the chamber hours later. He looked tired, but calm. "It's done," he said. A leader stood up, shaking. "Is the threat destroyed?" The human shook his head. "No," he said. "It's solved." Silence followed. "You've changed everything," the ancient speaker said. The human nodded. "Yes." "And what happens now?" someone asked. The human looked around the chamber. "Now," he said, "the galaxy decides what it learned." He turned to leave. Behind him, the galaxy realized the truth. Humanity had not won a war. They had rewritten what war meant, and the universe would never forget it. The enemy had never felt fear before. It had existed for longer than most stars. It had watched civilizations rise, fight, and destroy themselves. It did not rush. It did not panic. It simply waited for weakness. But now it was confused. Large sections of its influence were gone, not destroyed, not attacked, just unreachable. Its awareness no longer flowed freely. Paths that always existed were sealed. The enemy tried to push harder. It found resistance everywhere. Not walls, not weapons, limits. Inside the sealed regions, its forces waited. They could still think, still move, still exist, but they could not matter. That was when the enemy understood something important. Humanity was not trying to defeat it. Humanity was removing it from the future. Across the galaxy, observers noticed a strange change. Enemy activity dropped sharply. Attack stopped. Expansion halted. The silence was not peace. It was hesitation. At the Galactic Council, Leaders gathered again. Their voices were low now. Careful. The threat is slowing, one said. Retreating? Another asked. The ancient speaker shook its head. No, it replied. It is thinking. That answer worried them more than war. The human representative stood quietly nearby. He listened but did not speak. A leader finally turned toward him. Is it over? They asked. The human did not answer right away. Not yet, he said. It's deciding what it can live with. That sentence made no one comfortable. The enemy made its decision soon after. It reached out, not with fleets, not with force, but with communication. For the first time in its long existence, it tried to speak. The message spread across control channels, old and new. It was simple. Negotiation requested. The council erupted. It's surrendering. It's lying. This could be a trap. The ancient speaker raised its limb. Silence, it said. Let the humans decide. All eyes turned to the human representative. He read the message carefully. Then he nodded. Open the channel, he said. A massive hologram formed in the center of the chamber. Not a body, not a face. A shifting shape of light and darkness. The enemy. It spoke without sound, without language. Meaning filled the room directly. The state is unacceptable, asterisk, asterisk. The human replied calmly. Then you should not have forced it. You restrict my nature. Yes, the human agreed. That was a point. The enemy shifted. All others failed. Why you, asterisk, asterisk? The human answered without pride. Because we don't need to win, he said. We just need you to stop. Temporary. The human shook his head. No. The enemy paused. You will grow tired. Maybe, the human replied. But you won't. That truth struck deep. The enemy had patience. Humanity had inheritance. They built systems that lasted beyond lifetimes. Plans that outlived leaders. Decisions that carried forward. The enemy understood. This was permanent. What do you want? The council leaned forward. The human's voice remained calm. You will remain contained, he said. Forever. The enemy pulsed with agitation. That is death. No, the human replied. It's consequence. Silence followed. Then the enemy asked its final question. Why not destroy me? The human answered honestly. Because destruction teaches nothing, he said. Control does. The enemy had no response. The channel closed. Across the galaxy, enemy movement dropped to almost nothing. It did not fight back. It did not resist. It endured. The galaxy exhaled. At the council, relief spread, but it was mixed with fear. A leader whispered, "What happens if it escapes?" The human looked at the stars. "It won't," he said. "We built the cage." Another leader asked quietly, "And if it changes?" The human met their eyes. "Then we adapt." The ancient speaker spoke one last time. The galaxy owes humanity a debt beyond measure. The human shook his head. "No," he said. "You owe yourself a lesson." "What lesson?" someone asked. The human's voice was steady. "Don't ignore warnings. Don't mock restraint. And never assume calm means weak." He turned to leave. As he did, reports flowed in. Enemy systems stable. Containment holding. No resistance detected. The galaxy was safe. But it was no longer innocent. In distant space, the enemy existed in silence. Aware, restricted, unable to grow. It remembered one thing clearly. Not the weapons, not the fleets, but the moment humanity stopped asking, and finally said, "Fine, I'll handle it." Asterisk, asterisk. The galaxy did not celebrate. There were no victory parades, no songs, no monuments raised in space. Instead, there was quiet. Systems slowly returned to normal. Trade routes reopened. Fleets powered down and returned to their borders. Worlds that had waited in fear began to breathe again. The threat was contained. Forever. But nothing felt the same. At the Galactic Council chamber, leaders gathered once more. The room was full, yet the mood was heavy. The old confidence was gone. In its place was caution. and respect. The ancient speaker looked around the chamber. "We have survived," it said, "but survival has changed us." No one disagreed. The human representative stood near the edge of the room, preparing to leave. He had not spoken since the containment was completed. A tall crystalline leader finally addressed him. "Humanity saved the galaxy," it said. The human did not respond. Another leader stood. "You could rule now," they said carefully. "No one could stop you." The room went still. Every species waited for the answer. The human turned slowly. "We don't want to rule," he said. "We want quiet." That confused many. "You hold power beyond any empire," another leader said. "Why not use it?" The human met their gaze. "Because power used without need becomes the next threat." The ancient speaker nodded slowly. "Then what will humanity do?" it asked. The human thought for a moment. "We will watch," he said, "and we will remember." With that, he turned and left the chamber. Across the galaxy, stories spread about human fleets that appeared from nowhere, about battles that never exploded, about an enemy older than time that was not destroyed, but stopped. Young civilizations studied human history with new eyes. Old empires revised their defense plans, not against invasion, but against escalation, because everyone understood the same truth. Humanity did not act first, but when they acted, it was final. On Earth, life continued as normal. Cities moved. Children went to school. Ships launched from spaceports. Most humans never knew how close the galaxy had come to ending, and that was by design. Deep beneath Earth, the old command chamber went dark again. Total authority mode was locked away, not erased, just waiting. A senior commander stood alone for a moment before leaving. He looked at the dormant systems. "Let's hope we never need you again," he said softly. Far away, inside the containment zones, the enemy existed in silence. It could not expand. It could not reach. It could not threaten. It could only think. And it did. It thought about empires that fought loudly, about gods that demanded worship, about machines that burned everything in their path. None of them had stopped it. Humans had, not with hatred, not with pride, with decision. The enemy learned something new, that some species did not seek control of others. They sought control of outcomes. Back in the wider galaxy, an unspoken rule began to spread. It was not written in law. It was not enforced by fleets. It was shared quietly from leader to leader. Do not corner humanity. Do not ignore their warnings. And never mistake patience for weakness. Years passed, then decades. The galaxy grew again, but carefully. When conflict arose, humans were consulted early. When warnings came from Earth, they were listened to. No one wanted to hear those words again. "Fine, I'll handle it." Because now everyone knew what they truly meant. They did not mean help. They meant the end of choice, the end of debate, the end of mistakes. And somewhere among the stars, the galaxy accepted a new truth. Humanity was not its ruler, not its guardian, but its final answer. And as long as humans stayed quiet, the universe would remain safe.